Everything you think you know about orange cats is wrong. Not some of it, not most of it, all of it. The way they look, the reason they are almost always male, the marking on their forehead that humans have been telling stories about for thousands of years, the genetic secret that scientists spent over a century trying to crack and only finally unlocked in 2025. Every single thing you assumed about that fiery orange coat is either incomplete, misunderstood, or hiding something far stranger and far more extraordinary than you ever imagined. And if you have an orange cat sitting somewhere in your home right now, what you are about to learn will make you look at them completely differently, starting with the very first thing most people get wrong. Orange is not a breed. This sounds obvious until you realize how many people subconsciously treat it like one. Orange cats come in every shape, every size, every build imaginable. Persians, Maine Coons, British Shorthairs, tiny street cats, enormous fluffy giants. There is no orange breed. What you are actually looking at is a single genetic switch, one specific gene, flipped on, painting that coat over whatever cat already existed underneath. Two orange cats can be built completely differently. One massive and long-haired, one small and sleek. One with a round, flat face, one with a sharp, angular jaw. Yet they share the exact same colour instruction buried in their DNA. The orange is not the cat. It is the costume the cat is wearing. Now look closely at your orange cat. Look at the fur right now, in sunlight if you can. There are stripes there, swirls, a faint pattern running through the coat, even if it looks almost solid from across the room. That is not random. That is something that cannot be escaped. There is no such thing as a solid orange cat, not one, not anywhere on Earth. The orange gene is physically incapable of producing a plain, patternless coat the way black or white can. Every single orange cat that has ever lived carries tabby markings, stripes, spots, swirls, or that ghost pattern that only reveals itself in direct light. Your orange cat is not just orange. They are wearing the oldest coat pattern in the entire history of domestic cats, whether they know it or not. And on their forehead, look for it if you have not already, there is a clear letter M marked between their eyes. Every tabby has it, which means every orange cat on Earth has it. Scientists say it is simply the natural result of the tabby pattern converging toward the face. But the stories humans have built around that marking across thousands of years and dozens of cultures tell a completely different kind of truth. Ancient Egyptians connected it to their sacred cat deity. One legend says a tabby cat curled up beside the infant Jesus to warm him, and Mary pressed her initial into the cat's forehead in gratitude. An Islamic tradition credits it to the Prophet Muhammad's beloved cat, Mu'ezzah, whose head he stroked so gently the M appeared and never faded. Different continents, different centuries, different faiths, all staring at the exact same marking on the exact same forehead and deciding independently that it must mean something sacred. Your orange cat has been carrying a symbol that humans across the entire world found holy for thousands of years, and you probably never looked at it twice. Now the fact that shocks people most. Roughly 80% of all orange cats are male. Not a coincidence. Not a myth. Pure genetics. The gene that creates the orange coat sits on the X chromosome. Males have only one X, so a single copy of the orange gene turns the entire cat ginger, but females have two X chromosomes, which means they need the orange gene on both to come out fully orange, a far rarer combination, a much more demanding roll of the dice. This is why female orange cats are genuinely uncommon, and why almost every orange cat you have ever met in your life has been male without you ever consciously noticing. But here is where it gets even more extraordinary. What happens when a female gets the orange gene on only one of her two X chromosomes, something that has no equivalent anywhere else in the mammal kingdom? In every single cell of her body, one X chromosome randomly switches off. Some patches of skin run the orange gene. The patches right next to them run a completely different colour instruction. The result is a tortoiseshell or calico, That stunning mosaic of orange and black and cream flowing across one cat in a pattern that can never be replicated, not even in another cat with identical parents. That coat is not paint. It is a living map, patch by patch, of which X chromosome 1 in each individual location across her entire body. Every calico and tortoiseshell is a biological artwork that assembled itself one cell at a time, and it only exists because of the orange gene. Now, the discovery that changed everything. In 2025, just recently, scientists finally cracked the genetic secret behind the orange coat, and what they found surprised them. For over a century, researchers knew the orange gene existed on the X chromosome. What they could not identify was exactly which gene it was and precisely how it worked. The 2025 discovery pinpointed it, a specific mutation affecting a gene called ARHGAP36. This gene is not found in orange form anywhere else in the mammal kingdom. It is unique to cats. And when it is active, it does not just change the colour of the coat. It suppresses the production of dark pigment so completely that the orange pigment takes over entirely, cell by cell, from root to tip. A single genetic switch, one mutation, and the result is every orange cat that has ever existed across thousands of years of human history. And here is what makes that discovery even more remarkable. When scientists studied whether this mutation affected anything beyond colour, whether it came with hidden health costs the way dramatic colour mutations sometimes do in other animals, they found something genuinely reassuring. The orange mutation appears to be completely clean. It changes the colour and nothing else. Orange cats are not more fragile, not more prone to disease, not carrying hidden vulnerabilities because of that coat. That blazing fiery orange is simply a gorgeous paint job over a perfectly normal, healthy cat. Your orange cat also develops something as they age that owners almost universally find completely disarming. Tiny black freckles on the nose, the lips, the gums, sometimes around the eyes, that appear slowly over the first year or two of life and quietly multiply across a lifetime. It is called Lentigo. It is harmless, it needs no treatment, and it happens because clusters of pigment cells in those spots become especially active. It is the feline equivalent of freckling in the sun. And every new spot that appears is just your orange cat growing further into themselves, earning their markings one small dot at a time. There is one more thing about orange cats that owners almost universally report, and that surveys of cat owners have now confirmed enough times that it is impossible to dismiss. Ask people who have lived with orange cats, and an overwhelming majority will describe them the same way. Friendly, talkative, affectionate to a degree that feels almost more like a dog than a cat. They vocalize constantly, chirping, trilling, responding to everything you say as though an actual conversation is happening. They seek contact, seek company, seek your lap and your attention in ways that can feel relentless and wonderful simultaneously. Whether this personality pattern is genuinely written into the same genetics that create the colour, or whether it is something in how orange cats have been selected and kept across generations, the pattern shows up too consistently across too many owners in too many places to be coincidence. Orange cats have earned a worldwide reputation as the warmest, most openly affectionate cats alive, and their owners will defend that reputation with a ferocity that itself feels a little bit orange. So the next time your orange cat walks into the room, look at the tabby markings in their coat that cannot be hidden. Look at the M between their eyes that humans across a dozen cultures decided was holy. Look at the freckles slowly appearing on their nose. Look at the colour that a single extraordinary mutation, unique to cats, undiscovered for a century, finally understood only in 2025, painted across their entire body. You did not just get a cat, you got a genetic marvel in a fur coat, and it has been sitting in your home this whole time waiting for you to notice. Drop a paw in the comments and tell me your orange cat's name and the most chaotic, ridiculous, or completely unhinged thing they have ever done. Because if the personality research is right, the stories in the comments are going to be extraordinary.